If from our perspective as a service provider, really what we stand for is to encourage people to look at tomorrow all the time. We know that people want to have a great time today. Our job, just like any good doctor, tells their client to say, well, there's today, but there's also tomorrow. That's why our tagline is invest today for tomorrow. Always look long into the future. What kind of tomorrow do you want to create for yourself? In as far as financial security is concerned. So if you look at those two people that you shared with our people or with the audiences last week, the first group, Buddies with Billions, they started 25, 30 years ago. And I think in that story you heard that their eating of their money has just started now. For a long time it was putting away for tomorrow. And you know, if you look at those people, their retirement is sorted no matter what happens. For the other team, which is a team of young people who have just started, I think they are 2 years into their investment game, they're not talking about what are we going to do next Christmas or next year. They're thinking, how can we get to significant amounts of portfolios? Again, they're looking long into the future. So we encourage all our clients, or for that matter, anyone, to say, I'm happy today, I'm earning today, but what do I want my tomorrow to look like? So we start by helping you to visualize long into the future. There are a number of things that you need to think about when you're setting up. But really, the first step is, even if you have nothing, just close your eyes and visualize that tomorrow. And then roll back and say, how can I arrive at that point in time by that date? Once you have figured that out, then you can sit down with us to say, what will the journey look like? To simplify it for everyone, we have what we call the 5-step goal-based process of investment management. So we look at 5 steps. I think the first step is really what I've already talked about. What's your own goal? We help you to sit down to look at what goals matter to you. Is it just financial security? Is it to retire early? Is it to set up a business? For some people, is it to build a house? Is it to pay college fees for your children? We are all at different stages of life. We have what we call a financial timeline. It's a figurative expression of everybody's timeline. So from 0 to 20 or 25, we are being looked after by someone. We're not earning anything. From 25 to, let's say, 50, that's when 25 to 30, we are now in college, we're beginning to earn. And then towards 60, that's when you're both earning and spending. And when you hit 45, 50, maybe that's your prime. That's the best that you can earn as much as you can. Once you hit 55, 60, you know, your sun is now beginning to set. You're not earning as much as you would like to. You're probably just spending. And we're now saying, at the time when you're not earning, but you're just spending, who will finance that spending? The way life is structured these days is that you have to plan that you earn, spend, but also build a portfolio that you can spend for yourself later when you're not earning anymore. That's where portfolio building comes in. So that's a long explanation of goal number 1. What do you want? Then goal number 2 is to say, what's your risk appetite? What type of risk are you willing to take? Why do we talk about risk appetite? It's because when we make investments, there are different classes of investments. There are certain investments that are almost risk-free. So you put your money, you put your 100 million today, you know no matter what happens, you will find it, maybe with some interest. And then you have another asset class. You put your 100, there's a chance that it can grow to 500, but there's a chance that it might also become 70, 80. What's your risk-return interplay? We help you understand what type of risks we're talking about. And then step number 3 is now to analyze your financial situation, to say, how much am I earning? What are my spending patterns? And how much money can I put aside for tomorrow? We help you create a budget. What we found is that a lot of us, do not spend out of a budget. We spend by eyes. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like this. And when you sit back, it's now, where did the money go? If you spend out of a budget, you begin to see, how did I spend 100,000 on airtime? Who was I talking to? Once you write those things out, then you begin to see where the excess meat is and where you begin to say, I can cut here, I can cut here. The money that you've cut out is not for you to spend somewhere else. It's for you to put in your tomorrow basket. So that's goal number 3. What's your financial situation? And then goal number 4, we help you to then say, how can this money be invested? For you to achieve either growth, which can be done by stock market, or to achieve value protection, which can be done by property, or to achieve what we call liquidity. If you are looking to pay for things, how can you easily put money in a basket that can pay for things? And then step number 5, obviously, it's a continuous monitoring of your investment. Am I on the journey? If you set out to go to Lilongwe and you've been driving for 3 hours, you need to check and say, am I in jail? Am I in debt? If you just keep driving 10 hours down the line, you still haven't arrived, maybe there's something wrong. So we continuously help our clients to monitor their journey. Now, starting with us as an investments manager is very, very easy. Once we've gone through this goal-based process, once you have decided that you want to start, then there are just a few documents that you sign up. If you want to invest as an individual, then it's a basic investment management agreement between the individual and ourselves. This is how much money I'll be giving you at these points in time. This is how I want you to invest the money. And these are the kinds of reports I want you to give to me so that I can monitor if I'm making progress. If you want to invest as a group, then we would like you to have an agreement first within the group. We don't want you to bring disagreements to us. We're not here to start dealing with your disagreements. We want you to agree. Obviously, we will help you with documents. So we have a document which we've developed, which is like a memorandum of understanding between like-minded individuals to say, we want to start an investment group. What are the principles that will guide our investment group? Within your group, you can take our document, you can customize it according to your liking, and then you sign it, you agree. When you're coming to us, you've already agreed what it is that you want to be doing. Then you will also sign an investment management agreement with us. Again, it's one document between the group and us. And at each point in time, report back to the group to say, for your group, since you started, you are now at 10 million kwacha. But in that 10 million kwacha, 5 is for John, 3 is for James, 2 is for Mary. But those are the 5 steps and how we can actually get started. So for an individual, it's a one-day process. We can get started today, by tomorrow you are ready to invest. For a group, it depends on how you've agreed, but once you've agreed, it's a 2-3 day process. You sign an investment management agreement with us, then you start sending the funds to us for investing. I will discuss later what it is that we give you once you've started making your investment. Yes, so if you have a group like a village bank, you are one step ahead already because you have a group and you have an understanding. And in that group, your agenda is money. So you're already in this investment space. The difference between investment management with a portfolio structure like ours and a village bank is that, one, a village bank has a short-term vision. At the end of the year, where must we be? And how do we share the money? So you share the money after 1 year, and then you start again. So for a village bank, most village banks that I know of, they are not targeting a future big amount of growth. They are targeting a short-term goal. We share the money, we buy groceries, and then we start again. In this game of investing for your future, you're setting a 5-year goal, a 10-year goal, and you are entrusting somebody else to grow the money for you. In a village bank, the responsibility of growing the money stays with you. And my understanding is that the growth mostly comes from lending to each other. And the risk with a village bank is that sometimes you may lend to people who are not looking for the money. And that's a real risk. But I don't want to discount village banks. I want to say that village banks have got their own space. The problem with the village bank space is that the risk management process sits with the people. And I think the thing that's really boggled down village banks is that, one, either there's a bit of force around you must take the money. And secondly, the risk management process to say, if I give the money to Tumisani, 1 million, what's the chance that he will pay it back? And there's a very high chance that he may meet something along the way that makes him fail to pay. And I think that's a real pitfall for village banks. This one, you deal with that pitfall because you're not giving money to someone who might run into a risk. You're putting money into a pot that got risk management processes around it, and that responsibility is with the investments manager. But a village bank is somewhere to start. So you can have a basket for short-term goals. We contribute X for sharing in December, but we contribute Y to put away with an investment manager for the long future. So I would urge village banks to look at this other additional aspect of value addition to what they're already doing. So if you earn 200,000 now, how old are you? You might wish to answer that question. It's an obvious question. If I'm 25 and I'm earning 200,000, I wouldn't stress because I have, all things being equal, I have so many years ahead of me. If I'm going to retire at 60, for argument's sake, I have 35 years. Or if I'm going to retire at 50, I've got 25 years. If I am 50 and I'm earning 200,000, then the game changes because now my investing horizon is very, very short. So let me say you're 25 and you're earning 200,000. The other side is, where is your money going? At that point, you don't have kids in college, I'm assuming. Well, maybe miracles happen, but you don't have kids in college. You don't even have kids in high school. You probably don't even have kids. So, you can decide, if you read books, they talk about a rule of thumb of 10%. But if you don't have expenses, I would push it to 25%. If 200,000 is my net, I would push a 25% saving, so 50,000 a month put aside. I've got a model here which we can share. If you're investing 50,000 for 20 years and it's invested properly, where does it grow to? So if you are 25 and you invest 50,000 a month for the next 30 years, that money has potential to grow to 300 million. Watch. So the 50,000 might look small today, but think about the power of compounding over time. And this 300 million kwacha is a very conservative estimation. If you look at the stock market, for example, I'll just give you an example. Standard Bank shares are trading at 830 kwacha today. These shares 15 years ago were trading at 10 kwacha. Right. If you had put 1 million kwacha in a Standard Bank 15 years ago, just one, put it there, don't do anything more, you'd be sitting with 1 billion kwacha today. I hope you've bought FDH shares which were being offered at 10 kwacha. Look, in the long future, if FDH is still there in the next 25 years, and if you've put away 1 million kwacha today, you'll be surprised what that will become. So all I'm trying to say here is, if you put 50,000 consistently away, and as your power to earn is growing, you add a bit more. Even if you don't add, even if you keep doing 50, in 10 years' time, 50,000 will be nothing from your income. Even if you keep it at 50, but you keep it consistent for a long time, the power of compounding has power to surprise. And I've got these models here. So push it to 50%, push it to 25% to start. If your earning power has grown to now 400,000, but you now have expenses, so therefore available money is still 200, stay with the 50 or push it to 55 or 60. Anything above 50 that is done consistently, month after month, will surprise you in the long term. Common mistakes that people make when they embark on this journey. Actually, the commonest mistake that people make is not to even start. A lot of people don't even start. That's the biggest mistake that a lot of us make. Why? Everybody feels, I don't have enough money to put aside money for tomorrow. My money that I'm making today is not even enough. It's a huge mistake. A lot of us, we approach our money like this. I will save whatever remains after spending. So you spend first and try to save what remains. And guess what? Nothing remains. Nothing remains. Even if you doubled your salary today, nothing will remain. The wise way to do investment is to say, save first and spend what remains. I've always given an example of the taxman. The taxman is very, very clever. Nobody says, give it to my son his whole pay, depend on him to go to MRA to pay tax. Nobody does that. Everybody takes their tax portion before they give the money to you. If you invest that way, as if it's a tax, put your tax or an equivalent of an investment amount aside first, and then start spending later on, you find that your life adjusts around the portion that has remained. So that's the first mistake that people make, is to try to invest after spending. For those that start, the biggest mistake that they make is the lack of consistency. So it's stop and go approach. You invest 3 months, then you forget 3 months, then you invest 3 months, then you forget 3 months. So it's very, very inconsistent. And that way, you don't move to your goal quickly. The third mistake that people make in investments is that they don't forget about the money. They put it there, but they're still looking at it. They put it there. Really, you should forget about it. It's like it doesn't exist. So I can tell you in my own life as an investments manager, I'm my own client as well. I have a bucket for expenditure. So you put it in there, that bucket, whatever comes, whether planned or unplanned, up to this line, it can be spent. Then there's a middle bucket. The middle bucket is you must spend by plan. Then there's another bucket, which is tomorrow's bucket. Once the money has dropped in there, I don't have it. And, my wife gets surprised to say, but you're saying you don't have money. But what do you mean? I mean that I don't have. Because once it goes into that basket, I don't have it. It's not available. Even in an emergency, listen, if you have an emergency and you don't have money, you don't have money. And if that bucket is classified as I don't have money, the emergency, cannot dip into that bucket. And now sometimes it feels very cruel to yourself and to other people when you're thinking about securing tomorrow. But you need to have that discipline. So I've probably answered it. The third or the fourth mistake is the lack of discipline. To tell yourself that I'm promising myself that I'll put 50 aside and actually do it. People don't respect themselves. You see, if I respect you, I will show it by keeping my promise to you. If I have agreed with you to meet at 5, I'll be there at 5. If I don't respect you, I'll not show up. So if I tell myself I'll be putting away 50, but I don't do it, it's because I don't respect myself. In financial matters, you must have respect to the promise that you've made to you. So those are the common mistakes. So if you haven't started yet, just start. And starting is very easy, even if you don't have money. Just that decision that I will start, you have taken your first step. They say that the best time to plant a tree is 25 years ago. You should have planted that tree 25 years ago. But if you didn't plant a tree 25 years ago, the next best time to plant a tree is today. Just decide that you will get started. If you're young and your amounts are on the lower end, then that's where I would encourage to team up with friends. Because you see, if you're doing 50,000, but there's 10 of you, and your report says 500, then the next report says 1 million, then the next report says 2 million. Those numbers have got some kind of magic. Once you see 2 million, there are two things. Nobody gets satisfied with 2 million. You now start to want 5. Once you see 5, you now start to want 10. And if you're at 10, you will never want to be at 0 again. This is what happens. So get started. Have a number and then move to that number. Don't wait for the big day that you will make 100 million from somewhere, because that day will never come. That day will just never come. You can take it from me. Okay, so in this whole thing, where does NICO Asset Managers come in? NICO Asset Managers, like I said, we're like a financial doctor. When you feel like you have a need, you walk to the doctor. So our door is not like some private hospital. We're a public hospital. Anyone can walk through our door. Remember the first step that I talked about. The first step is just to discuss with you what your goals are. You don't have to walk to our office with money. Just walk to our office with a desire to set up your journey towards what you want in terms of financial security for tomorrow. If you have 0, come. Come tomorrow. If you have 0, call us, come. We sit down with you and we discuss with you how to get started. That's number one, just to show you that you can get started with nothing. So our role there is advisory, and it's free advice. Secondly, once you've decided that you want to start off the journey, then our role is to tell you what the market has to offer, and to say your job is just to give us whatever it is that you have decided. It's our job to invest it in such a way that we help you achieve your goal. So you don't have to worry about the stock exchange, you don't have to worry about the money market or other investment instruments. We will do that for you. Your job is promise yourself that I'll put aside so much and open an investment account with us and send in that money. Once you send any amount, and I keep saying any amount because there's this idea that certain financial houses are for certain people. No, we are here for everyone. We don't have a minimum amount. We just have room for people who have big ambitions. We just want you to have a big ambition, that's all. Once we sign an investment management agreement and you commit, so we will not tell you how much you should invest, because remember, it's your money. There's an idea that you're giving money to us. No, you're giving money to you, to your investment account, which is being managed by us. So it's up to you to decide how much you want to give yourself. Once you have decided, you send the money to us. Each time that you send any amount, we'll issue a receipt. We'll issue with what we call a deal confirmation to confirm that you've sent us so much and it's been invested like this. Every quarter, we'll give you a report, an investment report, which says, since you started to date, these are the funds that have come in, this is how the funds have been invested, and this is how much money your investment account is holding at this point in time. So we confirm receipts, we invest, and we issue reports. And then we also advise in terms of what the market is looking like. If we think growth is in the stock market, at each point in time, we will send out communication by email or by social media to say, at this point in time, we're recommending this type of investment. When your amount has grown to a certain level, your account will be allocated a specific officer who can call you specifically to say, for you, we think this opportunity will work. So we deal directly with individuals, but we also give general advice to all. So in terms of people ask, how much do you start with? That question should be answered by you. How much are you able to put aside? Our job is to receive and manage for you.